Welcome to another episode of Me, My Wife, and Sports. I'm your host, Fitz, with my lovely co-host, Darcy.
Hi.
All right. I don't know, Darcy, if you've been following the Major League Baseball playoffs, but
I have not.
It's going to be interesting because right now, New York Yankees are playing Cleveland, and the New York Mets are playing the Dodgers. So it's a possibility that it'll be a Subway World Series between the Mets and the Yankees, two New York teams. But we will see, because I think New York Mets are 6 seed, whereas LA is a number 1 seed, and the New York Yankees are a number 1 seed, and Cleveland is a number 2 seed. So we will see who will make it to the World Series. Now, for those who do not know, October is a special month. It's our lovely co-host Darcy's birthday month. So we've been doing a lot of things to celebrate her upcoming birthday. And one of the things we did, we went to a Maryland football game, and it was very interesting. Maryland was playing Northwestern, and the results weren't good for Maryland. Your thoughts, Darcy?
No, what else is there to say? You just said it all.
Right. But I'm sure they'll turn it around down the stretch.
It was a good experience.
It was.
Got to see the governor.
Yes. Governor of Maryland.
Governor of Maryland, the Honorable Wes Moore.
Yes, we did.
He was out there cheering on Maryland.
Yeah.
So that was fun to see him engage with the students.
And also, there was an Olympian that was in attendance who is actually a student at the University of Maryland. And her home is, let me make sure I get this right, Dominica?
Yeah. Yes.
She did the triple long jump for Dominica and won the gold. And she was at the event with her gold medal.
Right.
Again, shows that the U.S. is training everyone.
Right. Absolutely.
And I know you've been watching a lot of college football. And what is your take on some of the games that you've seen?
Oh, today, well, I don't know what, there was a lot of good college today. I don't know what would be the most significant because a lot of it is still going on.
Right.
But Texas played Oklahoma.
Right. Beating them 34-3.
Yeah. It's over, right?
Yes. It's over.
They beat them, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the Red River rivalry. And the big discussion with that was, why was Arch Manning not starting? But, he's a freshman. He played 2 games behind Quinn. I can't say his last name.
Ewers,
yeah, behind Quinn Ewers. And he did very well and won both games because Texas is now 6-0. And I think everyone wanted to see him play, just continue in that vein. But He's a freshman.
He had to wait his turn.
Art.
Especially since
Quinn is a junior. And yeah.
Texas quarterback is a good quarterback. So
yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Oklahoma game, that was a crazy game. Then Alabama barely beat South Carolina. They won by 2 points, and that was a good game. And Alabama should have beat South Carolina much easier than what they did.
Right.
They struggled with that game. So the conversation there is that they're going to have to go back to the drawing board because I think they play Tennessee next.
Who is that? Alabama?
Alabama, yeah.
Okay.
I think Alabama plays Tennessee, and they were like, yeah, they're not going to be able to. If they play Tennessee like they play South Carolina, they will lose. So it'll be interesting to see how they recover from that. And we already talked about the Maryland and Northwestern game.
I know your big game is tonight.
My big game is tonight. Yeah, Oregon and Ohio State are playing right now, and 2 and 3.
Right.
And they're going back and forth. But yeah, my big game is tonight. tonight at 10:15. Why is that so late? I don't know. But with Kansas State and Colorado, and Kansas State is ranked
number 18.
Yep. And so this will be, and Colorado is playing, Colorado Buffaloes. They're playing at home. So that's...
Well, this will definitely be a test.
It's a good thing for them. So we will see, if they can pull off the upset. That's the big question. They both have the same record, 4-1, which that's really great for Colorado.
Right. And just sort of piggyback on Tennessee, you said Tennessee will be playing Alabama coming up for the next game.
I think it was Tennessee. Okay. I'm not sure.
Well, I know Tennessee is playing Florida as we speak. Right
now, yeah.
And Tennessee is ranked 8th, and they're actually losing 3-0 to Florida
right, exactly.
in the third quarter. So that's telling.
Yeah.
As well as Oregon is beating Ohio State by 1 point going into the half.
Yeah. And then Army is 6-0.
Are they?
Yep. Army is 6-0 for the first time since the 90s sometime. So I'm sure all the Army people
are loving
it. Yeah. Which, that since the 90s, that's something to celebrate. So,
right.
I mean, they played University of Alabama, Birmingham, I believe that is, who they played today. And now, they beat them 44-10. That was just ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
But because UAB is 1-5, so they really should have beat them. So we'll have to watch and see how well they do with a similar ranked team.
Right.
But they're doing the thing because the Air Force is not even close.
Well, I always found interesting, and I'm sure that with the Army, Air Force, and Navy teams, they probably get waivers to go beyond their max weight for their height and all that in order to compete. But I'm sure they don't go too far over. So they might be a little bit lighter than most teams and a little bit quicker because they're not as bulky, so it's an advantage and also a disadvantage. So
Right.
Because I remember in the past watching a lot of the Air Force games, everybody on the team looked like wide receivers to me because they weren't too large.
Skinny, yeah.
But we will see.
We'll see, yeah. Have to look at that and see what they look like.
Now,
go ahead.
Tomorrow, which is Sunday, and our Cowboys will be playing. And they are playing the Detroit Lions, which is going to be a tough team to beat.
Yes, it is.
And I kind of wish it was on the road because we tend to do better on the road. We're playing this one at home. So hopefully we get all the kinks out of our system from the last game and we're able to capitalize on this game. So we will see.
Right.
And sort of quiet some of the Washington Commanders fans.
Those people.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. In this past, Thursday's game, the 49ers beat the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I know your boy Gino, he didn't write back, did he? Or did he write back?
Well, he's writing back, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Gino. I mean, he had one bad game. We'll see how it works.
Yeah, because they still have
their record is as good as San Francisco. They both 3-3. So, yeah. That was a division game. So they're in it as much as San Fran is. And San Fran has a lot of injuries. So they might be in it a little bit more. I don't know, but we'll see. Even at week 6, it's still too soon to tell.
Everybody's still filling everybody out.
There are no patterns. There's no clear number one team out there. Everybody would say, well, what about the Chiefs? The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're going to be, it's still early.
And the Chiefs, they'll hang around.
It's still early.
Hang around. Yeah.
Like I said, it's still early. So
now, what are your thoughts about the Jets firing their head coach?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Saleh. Well, I had said that was going to happen.
Right,
I didn't really mean to say that because I hope I didn't speak it. I didn't hope I didn't speak that into existence. But it had to be, if you're a business person or a manager or anything like that, it wouldn't have been hard to see that coming.
Right.
I mean, they had they gave him Salah everything that he asked for. They gave him time.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him the first. Well, I don't know where Breece Hall was in the draft. If he was a first round, I believe he was a first round draft pick, though.
Yeah,
I think he did go in the first round when they got him. So they got a first round draft pick, and then when everything else failed, they got Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And the management gave him time because they said, okay, we're going to give you the time that it takes Aaron to heal, and you keep working it out.
Right.
And I don't know. It just seemed like it
just didn't come together.
It just wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
And so it makes you wonder all this time, was it the team or was it him?
Right.
Because they were saying that the play calling was just horrible.
Right.
And that I think it was the last game, like they were calling just the same plays.
Oh, yeah.
They were calling the same plays. That's crazy.
I think we were watching one of the sports centers, and they were highlighting that the Jets were calling, like you said, the same plays even with the different teams. They were doing back to back, and they were highlighting it on the screen, and everything was the same.
Exactly.
So it doesn't take another team much to prepare for. So it was almost like...
Right. If you had the film and you watched it, then you had their game plan.
Yeah, seemed like it was just so limited on the variety of things that they would do. And you can tell during the last game, Aaron was a little frustrated.
During the game that they won, that was the game everybody was talking about. The game that they won, I don't know what happened, but I think they won it in like the last minutes or seconds of the game.
Oh, okay.
And when Aaron went over to the sideline, Salah tried to give him a hug and Aaron pushed him off.
Right.
And the commentators, they went, oh, yeah, we know what that means. Oh, yeah, anybody who's played with Aaron Rodgers knows what that means.
And I still don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I mean, other than he wasn't happy, and for those who played with him, maybe it meant that the writing's on the wall, buddy.
Right.
You know, just because we won, don't think that we friends or that I think you did a good job.
Right.
That's kind of what they were saying. So,
well, the funny part about that whole thing, the offensive coordinator was relieved of his duties, but wasn't fired.
Right.
Yeah.
That was, I can't think of his name now, but he's a good friend of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
So the plot thickens. So if you're friends with Rodgers, you might not keep the same duties, but you're not going to be out of a job.
I don't know about all that. I do know that they are friends.
Okay.
I do know that they are friends, but I want to say they were together in
Green Bay.
In Green Bay, yeah.
Well, speaking of weapons and friends and all that, Davante Adams is not happy in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we all know he went there to play with Carr because I think they played in college together. And, of course, Carr was pushed to the side and he's doing his thing elsewhere. And things just aren't working out for Davante, I guess. But he's he's requested a trade. And I think the Jets, as well as New Orleans, where Carr is at, is the two teams he's really looking at or want to go play for.
Yeah, said what? New Orleans and who? Oh, the Jets. Yeah, because he's trying to get back to Aaron or Derek.
Yeah.
Which that's going to be the real test to see if he gets to the Jets. Then we'll know that Aaron got the same kind of pull in New York or in New Jersey because the Jets ain't in New York. But he has the same kind of pull there that he had in Green Bay.
Right.
Which could be a problem for the new head coach, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see where Davante Adams lands.
Now, they haven't hired a new coach. They just have an interim coach.
They just have an interim coach right now, yeah.
Well, if Mr. Jones was to stick his hand in the pot, I think Davante Adams would be a good addition to our receiving corps to take some of the pressure off of CD.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah.
But we all know it's that money.
That dollar.
And
money talks.
And the cap is pretty tight.
Everything else walks.
That it is. That it is.
The only two teams, left with a perfect record thus far is Minnesota and Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Everybody else has lost at least one.
Yes.
But Kansas City is 5-0 right now, and Minnesota is 5-0, and they both on a bye this week, I believe.
I think you're right. Well, hopefully, like you said, things will level out and everything will be better.
And then everybody has won at least one, so we don't have any teams that haven't won anything. So nobody's like 0-5 or 0-4. But it's a lot of 1-4s out there. I was
getting ready to say, yeah.
Cleveland, New England, the Jacksonville, Tennessee is 1-3 because they had a bye this past week. Carolina, oh my God, Cincinnati. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
especially with Cincinnati, what is going on with Joe Cool? Everybody loves Joe Cool.
I like Burrows, and I think I would have thought they would be better than what they are right now.
They got all the weapons. They paid Chase his money, and
that's where it stops, in my opinion.
Yeah, because they traded Joe Mixon.
Yeah,
they got rid of him. I don't know why, but they traded him. I don't know who is their running back. I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
It's evading me right now, or who is T. Higgins? I think he's hurt. Or is he back playing? He was hurt for the first couple of games. I don't know if he's back playing or not, but he was out for a couple of games. So they have T. Higgins, Chase. What's that man's name?
What, Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase. They have him. I don't know who their running back is, but they got rid of Joe Mixon, which I didn't understand that.
One of the downside to this game coming up with the Cowboys and the Lions just gave an extension to their running back, David Montgomery, a 2-year extension for $18.5 million. Now, we've seen in sports, once these guys get new contracts or extensions, their performance tend to fade a little bit in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
We can go back to Marion Barber, God rest his soul, and we can go back to Zeke. When he got his big deal, his production went down. And some of these other players out there, it's just something, I don't know whether they see they got the money, now they want to preserve their bodies. It's sort of like working for that raise, but we'll see if Montgomery steps up since he gotten paid. So, and I don't know if you heard, I was reading an article today that the commissioner for the NFL is looking to do the Super Bowl internationally. Now, nothing has been put in place. It's just conversation. But I think that would be a big mistake. And if you listeners agree, I think you should send some kind of message to the NFL, letting them know.
Flood his email box.
Right. Because not only the Super Bowl is great for the fans, but whatever city it goes to, it stimulates their economy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at it now, we're outsourcing our Super Bowl to another country instead of playing at home. But I'm not going to get into the politics of it all. But we need to keep the Super Bowl in the U.S. It's fine to send some games over, play a game here and there in different countries, because I think it's Mexico, London.
We said Mexico, London, Germany, Brazil
are the four that the games have played in. Now, did you hear about what happened with Steelers wide receiver George Pickens, who's also on my fantasy?
No.
He was fined $10,000 for a profane message on his eye black. You know, the tape that they put across?
Yeah.
Well, he had a message on there, and I'm not going to repeat the message, but basically his message was stating that he is open always. That's what I'm leaving out one of the words. I'm open on his tape.
I'm open.
Effing always. So
that was who?
Pickens, George Pickens, the receiver for...
See, he's going to get fired.
He better not, because I got him
He
in my
gonna get
fantasy.
fired. Well, you need to start looking for another. I'm telling you, like I told you about Salah getting fired, he next.
Yeah,
Pickens is next.
He displayed a personal message, and I think the profanity is what did it. And to me, that's speaking volumes to his quarterback or to his coordinator.
It's what he doesn't know, that football fanatics, in the sense of knowledge and history, fanatics in that way, sense about football.
Mm-hmm.
What we know that clearly Pickens don't know, and he in the house, is that the Steelers don't have patience for disrespect.
Correct.
And so Tomlin has already warned him once.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
About opening his mouth publicly when he was not doing his job.
Right. Okay.
So Tomlin has already given him that warning.
Yeah, he might be on the chopping
one
block.
time.
Yeah.
So now this is strike 2. So I don't know if it's a 2-strike or a 3-strike kind of situation in Pittsburgh, but I do know that he and Tomlin got into it. Well, they didn't get into it, but Pickens said something, and then the media got a hold of it, and then they did a press conference, and then they had to respond. They asking Tomlin questions, and Tomlin was like, I just need everybody to do their job. And if you're doing your job, you ain't got to worry about catching the ball, because the ball will come to you if you're doing your job. So just do your job.
Wow. And this was a Cowboys game for our listeners. This was all during the Cowboys game, because also Pickens was fined $10,000 for a face mask penalty against the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
So he probably didn't get paid that day, because he had $20,000 in fines just that day.
Yeah, and there probably wasn't nobody that was going to pay it for him.
I wonder why they let him go out on the field with that black tape with the
You
verbiage.
think they even saw it? They might not even seen that.
True.
They probably wasn't paying attention to that.
Yeah.
But they will now.
See, just because he got...
And so now everybody going to have to stop. It's going to be somebody looking at the tape.
Right.
As everybody walk out the door. They all going to be pissed now.
And maybe he's feeling himself, because last year he posted 1,000 yards for the season. And, sometimes these guys get a little full of themselves when they do well the previous year, thinking they can come in. You got to build your credibility from day one all the way to the end. One season doesn't give you carte blanche to act a fool.
Especially when we ain't won no Super Bowl or nothing. So that's what Tomlin is saying. Like, we ain't in no position to be talking no trash, and you ain't in no position to be talking no trash about the team, because you ain't doing what he was saying was you ain't doing your job.
Right.
So it was a big thing in Pittsburgh, and Tomlin, he just looked like the kind of person that you really just don't want to play with.
Exactly. No nonsense type guy.
Yeah, his patience is short.
And
I wouldn't be playing with him.
And his job is secure. So the players have to worry.
He ain't going nowhere.
What was that you had mentioned? I think it was with the Raiders coach.
Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
I love Antonio Pierce. Okay, y'all, I do. And I lived in California outside of Oakland. I lived in Pittsburgh, California, for the people who know where that is, and worked in San Francisco. And if you live inland, that's what we call it. If you live inland, then most of the people that live inland were Oakland fans. If you lived in San Francisco proper, then they were Giants fans. But the city was divided because they felt like the Raiders were for the poor people. And
you mean the 49er fan?
No, the Raiders.
No, you said Giants.
I meant 49ers.
Okay.
Giants are the baseball team.
Yeah.
There, but I meant 49ers. But yeah, the Raiders were for the poor people and the 49ers were for the rich people. And that's kind of how that was the mentality that they had out there. But Antonio is something else. I don't know how to politically correct say what I want to say, but he's like Tomlin in that he is no nonsense. He just going to get with you.
Now, didn't he?
He going to step to you, and he's going to step to you totally different. Yeah, because I'm trying to think, who was it that said somebody said something out there. I can't remember what player it was.
Right.
But they said something about business decisions. Something about the business decisions. And then again, the players say something on social media.
Right.
Media gets a hold of it. They go to the coach. And now, that's probably his first time hearing it because they ain't on social media. They ain't got time to be checking all those people's social media.
Right.
They leave that to the media.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for y'all to tell me what they done said stupid.
Or some internal staffer in the organization.
Some intern, that's their job.
Right.
And so he was like, I'll make some business decisions. If he want me to make some business decisions, I'll make some business decisions. And it just... For anybody that know Antonio Pierce, you got to stop and you need to be a little concerned because you don't want him to have no flashbacks. They said Antonio, when he played...
Who did he play for?
I want to say he played for the Giants.
Oh, okay.
But now are you going to look it up?
I am. I can't.
Fact check me. I think he played for the Giants.
I think you're right,
I think he played for the Giants.
What's his last name?
Pierce.
Okay.
And when he played for the Giants, there was a game. There was a game that they played the Raiders, and Michael Strahan tells his story. So I'm pretty sure it was the Giants when the Giants won the game, but afterwards, I guess Strahan was talking trash, and Antonio stepped to him and said, "No, we're not going to do that."
Right.
Because he was a huge Raiders fan. And I don't know.
Now, was he from that?
I think that he might be from that area. He might be from California somewhere or wherever it was. Yeah,
Long Beach.
He's from, so he's from
Long Beach.
Okay, and then you got that Long Beach in him too. So they said he told Michael Strahan said he looked me dead in my face and said, "We're not going to do that." And Michael Strahan said, "I knew immediately that he was serious." He said, and so I just shut up. He said, because the look on his face was he was not playing.
Right.
He was very serious. He was very emotional. And he meant exactly what he's saying. We were not going to badmouth the Raiders, the staff, the team. He was not having it while he was in the room.
That's good.
And he was a Giant. He played for the Giants. They had just beat the Giants.
He did.
But they was like, no, he was telling them, we're not going to talk about them.
Okay.
So somebody with that kind of passion for a team, and that's what the Raiders want that organization.
But unfortunately, I don't think it lasts. Well, also too, he did play for New York Giants from 2005 to 2009 and Washington from 2001 to 2004.
Okay.
But I don't think it'll last because I don't know if you recall Mike Singletary, who used to play for the Bears way back when. Well, he was the coach for San Francisco at one point in time, and he had the players like running hills and doing all kinds of stuff. And of course, they complained, and his tenure was short-lived. And everybody was saying it was the way he was doing old school, and he needs to adjust to the way players are today.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
And you look at it too, you got a lot of old school coaches that's no longer coaching. It's very, what is it? I think Belichick was the last dinosaur. Well, Sean Payton.
Sean Payton is still out there.
I can't think of who else is out there that's been around.
It would have been Pete Carroll, but he's not there anymore.
And besides Tomlin,
Tomlin's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Nope. Everybody else is new.
Yeah.
But we'll see because Miami's falling apart.
Oh, yeah.
They look horrible.
They do.
Carolina, who knows what's going on with them.
Right.
It's a lot of teams. The same thing with Cincinnati. All those 1-4 teams that I named. Right. They're falling apart. And so maybe that new school mentality ain't working.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it's saying. Maybe they need to go back to running heels and practicing in pads and all that stuff that they used to do.
Right.
But a lot of that has to be ingrained in the person.
It does.
And if it's not in the person, like you talk to Michael Irvin and you hear people tell his story about how he was the first one in the locker room and the last one to leave. And he was always perfecting his game.
Exactly.
But, you wouldn't know that if you hadn't. We were fortunate to be with someone
Right.
who was there with Michael and was sharing his story.
Right.
But I don't know that there's anybody that has that kind of commitment to the game because they all so cocky.
Well, and if they spend more time learning the plays and crafting their skill than they do with, okay, we get a touchdown, we go do this handshake, this canoe roll.
Right.
Antics. They spend more time putting together antics like we're a sideshow at a circus or something.
Exactly. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fans don't want to see your end zone dance.
Right.
We want you to win the game.
Exactly.
So
dance at the Super Bowl.
I just saw, dance at the Super Bowl. I just saw where Travis Kelce is hosting a game show. I'm trying to figure out how the hell is he doing that?
I guess off season, maybe.
Yeah, it has to be pre-recorded.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be pre-recorded. But he hosted a game. It's Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? Now, if that ain't the stupidest thing I ever heard, I don't know, because that is pretty easy to answer. But yeah, a spinoff of that show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Right.
So now it's Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity, hosted by Travis Kelce. And when they said that, I was like, oh, he's just real full of himself.
They could have got his brother since he's retired.
Exactly. Why Travis? Let Jason do it. He ain't got no job.
It's that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, he want to be in front of the camera too now. Like you see her doing it, he probably think he can do it too. So that always happens. Yeah. But
all right. Well, Darcy, our time is winding down, and I would just like to put a shout out to Caitlin Clark for winning the rookie MVP. Congrats. And just so everyone knows, Minnesota Lynx are playing New York Liberty WNBA championship. Well, they're in the championship, and they are scheduled to play, I think, tomorrow at 3 p.m. on ABC.
Against football.
Yes, which I don't understand.
On ABC?
ABC.
What time?
3 o'clock.
So I guess ABC ain't showing no football.
Probably not. At 3 o'clock. Do they usually get the Sunday night game, maybe?
Yeah, they'll have the Sunday night game.
So, but with all that said, if you want to reach out to us at memywifeandsports at yahoo.com, drop us a note, a message, or just a comment on any thoughts you may have. And also, if you want to leave us a message, you can reach us at 301-818-2306, and we will respond. And you can also review some of our previous episodes or listen to this episode on memywifeandsports.buzzsprout.com or whatever platform you usually listen to your podcast. We're pretty much on all of them.
Yep.
All right. Any parting words?
Nope.
Darcy?
Everyone have a good evening, a good day, wherever you are. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, everywhere. And remember, your mate is a reflection of you.